Hi folks, down at the park. This one, just been to the shops, got a few bits and pieces. So yeah, a quick little video. It is windy, so I'm going to find somewhere to go where it won't be so windy and just do a quick video. Not really a lot to say, just a couple of important points. Yeah, but it seems as if that one thing I was standing on with regards to wife is not going to happen. Well, we basically got, today is the D-Day on that, and it's, I think, about 11 o'clock coming up to. So 12 o'clock is obviously when today ends. So I was told by God 8 months, and it was 8 months ago today. And so that time ends today. Okay. I'm going to try and say everything I need to say in the nicest, most kindest way I can possibly say so. Yeah. I would say today I've been speaking a lot to God. And one thing I've said to God is, at one point in time I said, how did you, why on earth did you say 8 months? Why did you give me that to stand on? Because obviously you knew that wasn't going to happen, because this individual, whether or not she's single now, whether or not she isn't, is irrelevant. She's not the right person for me. She just isn't. I mean, what I've seen of her more recently is there's no way, shape or form. Because I mean, one of the most important things for me with the idea of a wife would be communication, because one of the biggest problems that people have in relationships is communication, or the lack of it. I mean, there can be issues with that. Certainly it's a case of, in relationships, are people willing to say something that they know could hurt the feelings of the person that they're with? Are they willing to sleep on the couch, or are they willing to risk that relationship with truth? To me, it's important to do that, because, if you can be truthful from day one, completely truthful, even when it hurts you to be truthful, or hurts them to be truthful, but certainly when it hurts you to be truthful, then if anything comes up in the future, anything at all, where someone says, oh, your husband was looking at me, your husband was doing this, your husband was doing that, then she knows that if I say to her that wasn't true, she knows I'm telling the truth, because she knows I've been honest with her all the way. She knows that communication has been done, right? If we have a problem with each other, that has to be communicated immediately. No mucking around. You don't go to bed when you have problems like that with somebody. I have always been a strong believer of that. This lady has clearly had a problem with me since around about October. But before, go back and listen to go back and watch my videos in October, certainly late October. Before the 21st of October, I had no idea she was married. No idea at all. The impression that I got from her was that she was single. If you go back a bit further to when I first started talking about her, I was concerned she was too young. I thought she might be in her early 20s. She isn't. She's quite a lot older. Well, not that much older, but from the point of what should be maturity, she's quite a lot older. And but I was concerned about that. And I thought she was single. But the problem is, I was going through something. I was going through a lot of things. I mean, I'd recently had the dogs taken, so I was highly emotional over that stuff as well. Then suddenly I had this incredible love towards another human being, so I shared that stuff, and I shared my experiences and what I was going through, with the channel. That's quite likely either she saw a video talking about that or somebody else said something to her, and she started behaving coldly towards me. 1 second. How you doing? You alright? Cool. Good. Enjoy. Yeah, that lady I've seen quite a few times in the past. Yeah, basically what I'm saying is I was in a situation that I never believed I could be in. Again, if you go and watch my videos around that time, I deleted quite a few once I realised she was married. But some of them are still there. You may find the one where I was talking about the fact that I didn't think there was any way, shape or form that she, being single, that she would pick me. Because, I'd always been told growing up that I was worthless and nobody would want me and all this sort of crap. So therefore I believed it. And so, that's part of the reason why I was sharing this stuff, because I was going through this situation that I never believed was possible. And, just a few days before that love was put in me, I was at that LL, and towards the end of that, I felt God was saying, you're ready. God said, you're ready. I heard a very clear, you're ready. And of course, then when the love came in, I thought, well, obviously that's what he meant. Problem is, God is vague. When God gives you anything vague, is an understatement. You're ready? I should have really spent a lot of time asking for what. But I would assume had he wanted me to know that soon, he would have told me. I think it's more the case that God wanted to say that I'm ready to have that understanding of who he is and who I am, and not only that, but also what the next phase of things is going to be. For example, when God told me about the you go through the word to a relationship with Father, and once you get to that destination, you don't need the word anymore. Now, of course, that basically is pretty much identical to what the Lord actually said. When it's like, I'm the way, the truth, and life, and then he said, no one comes to the Father except through me. No one comes to the Father except through me. You go through the word. Look at John. Jesus was actually referred to as the Word. So I hadn't noticed that bit about the Lord saying, you come through me to the Father. But when I got that from Father, then a few months later I saw that and thought, oh, same thing. But maybe that's what he was talking about, that's what I was ready for. Okay, I got it wrong. But this is where it gets difficult. So I was doing videos, and as I say, I didn't use her name, but I did use some examples of things that had happened, so therefore, that was a mistake, because maybe that's how she found out. And as I say, I didn't know she was married. Even the point of when she would have found out, she was out the way of the church for a few weeks. When she came back, as I said before, she was, she'd gone from colourful to grey. I didn't recognise her. That was one of the most horrifying things that I'd experienced at that time, is that there was this woman that I felt God had put incredible love for me for, and she had impressed me so much, and she was so colourful, so joyful, so kind, so considerate. And yet, here she was in front of me, grey. With all of that incredibleness that she had, seemingly gone. Okay? Now, 3 days beforehand of that's where the pastor mentioned someone of her name having a husband, and her husband having an injury. So that's like, oh my God. Go back, listen to the videos. I was like, oh God. I've asked God, is this true? Is this her? So far, God hasn't told me. So I'm going to have to confirm that next time I see her. Let's ask her about her husband, which is what I did. And she said, yeah, he's fine. He's getting better. But the problem is she was obviously offended by me before that point. Now, that's the thing, that's, you know. One thing I wish I could have done, you know, beforehand, before today, was just have a conversation with her and just say, look, whatever it is I've done, speak to me about it. Let's get that sorted, because, you know, the Bible clearly says you've got to deal with this stuff. You can't hold that in. If you've got an issue with someone else, deal with that before you go before God. So deal with it. You know, just say what you have to say. You know, I'm big enough. I can handle that. You know. Well, and, you know, to be honest, it's, yeah, this situation, it's, as I say, it's just a case where I think on the 24th of October, I then found out she was married. I did a video at that point in time where, yeah, I was, yeah, you've heard the point beside yourself? Yeah, pretty much, that's what I was. And I was, you know, really having a go at God. Really having a go at God at that point in time. You know, just saying, what are you doing? Encouraging me to be in love with someone who's married. What the heck was that all about? Towards the end of the video, I realised that, well, actually, this is the only time in my life when I could have even believed that there was a possibility that someone like her could be interested in me. I then thought, well, okay, you know, we do have a habit, really, of marrying the wrong people, so that's possible. And if this is God, then okay, is God capable of doing this? So I said to Rob and Bianca, my friends, that this could take 1 to 2 years. That was that night. Very next morning, what I heard was 8 months. This is the last day of that 8 months. And then when I went to my computer, my AVG said that the license was needing renewal in pretty much exactly 8 months' time. It gave a date. That date was, I think, the 23rd of June, which I thought was the 8 months. But then when I checked, it was actually today. So, yeah. So, here we are in this. But, I said recently that it makes sense. Why did it make sense so much? It wasn't just that God said 8 months. It wasn't just that my AVG also said the same. So, it was a bit of, okay, that seems a bit, okay, I should take notice of this a bit. It was also a case, as I said, about 14 years ago, Rob has said to me, are you interested in getting married again? And I said, well, maybe. And he said, then pray about it and write down what God gives you. And pretty much what I got was her. What I wrote down 14 years ago was her. And then the way everything happened in September, it just seemed like it was, everything was meant to be. It just seemed like that. Because, I mean, even the church, I'd walked past that church 2 years earlier, or 3 years earlier, probably about 3 years earlier, 2 or 3 years earlier. And the service had finished, and I'd gone to say hello and asked how the service was. They said, oh, it's brilliant, pastor's fantastic. They said, oh yeah, church is doing really well. I said, so were the queues of people trying to get in? And of course they didn't get that point. The reference that if the church was doing fantastic, there would be queues of people trying to get in. They said, check out the pastor, we've got a Facebook thing and his messages are on there. So I said, okay. I did, and when I checked it out, on his message, he started down a path in what he was saying, and there was a safe route, and there was a more difficult route. As soon as he chose the safe route, that was it, I'm not interested. And never went back. For that reason, not interested. He chose the safe route. I thought, as soon as he chose the safe route, I know this man. I've been to so many churches with this man in it, basically, or the identical of this man. Yeah, he's been trained at the Bible college, and he's just producing the same old crap that they're all producing. I'm not going to go back to that church. When I went to LL, they suggested I go to a church. It just happened to be that one. So, had it been 2 odd years, I thought, okay, I'll go in. And yeah, it was the second week I was there that I met this lady. And so it's like, okay. It just made sense. And then, even during the 8 months, whenever I was struggling, I got something. Something came to me and just encouraged me. Yeah, no, it was just a very, very short while ago. What the heck is that there? What has someone left there? Okay. Okay, maybe they didn't want it anymore. It was a bike helmet. Maybe the strap broke or something. I don't know. All the top seems to be broken. Oh dear. Hopefully they didn't have an accident with that, but that's busted in there, is it? Oh dear. Hopefully they didn't fall off and hurt themselves. Yeah. Anyway, what I was saying was, yeah, it was only just days ago, well, about a week ago, that God reminded me that I was in the town that she was born in. Yeah, probably not the town, the country. Probably about the time she was born. It's the only time I've been in that country. Yeah, again, what do I take that as? Encouragement. Yeah. Encouragement to stand. As I said, I've been talking about standing. I've been talking about the importance of that, and and I've been saying that the thing about standing is not supposed to be something which you know is an absolute certainty. So I always knew that this was quite possibly not the case. And once I found out that she was married, I didn't do any more videos about her. Because it's like, well, no, that would be inappropriate, so I didn't do that. I actually deleted tons. You know? I had no interest at all in being in love with someone who's married. No interest at all. For goodness sake, no. I mean, before I was born, my mother was married to my father, and she was already having an affair with another man. You know? Then later, when the mother of my son, when I first met her, she was already married. And we met at a nightclub. And I wasn't a Christian at this point in time, not until after James was born, my son. And we met in this nightclub, and the nightclub DJ said he had a room that we could use, because I was going off to America. And I said, no, I'm not going to do that. She's married, she's still with this man, I'm not going to do that. She needs to at least make a decision as to what she's going to do, as to who she wants to be with, before I'm going to do that. And that was even before I was a Christian. I wouldn't do that. So, yeah, go and listen to the video I did on the 24th of October. You will see just how bloody mad I was at the idea that God had put love in me for someone who's married. Did I want to be someone who, even with the suggestion that I'd got in between two people? No. Not in any way, shape or form. And so, look, the reality is, that's the situation now. I'm pretty bloody certain that that's not going to happen. Well, because 8 months ends today. That's it. Today, that's it. And, as I say, communication being the most important thing, and this person wasn't prepared to communicate whatever the problem was she had with me, so that could be sorted, at least understood. Come on. If you think that this person is in love with you, even though he knows you're married, which I didn't, at least for that time, and afterwards I did, but I kept it to myself. I didn't speak to anyone else about it at that point in time. I did at one point share it with the pastor when I thought. I think the pastor quite possibly told her. In which case, he certainly shouldn't be a pastor anymore, should he really? Because when I found out that it's a possibility she was married, I said to the pastor, yeah, this is a problem. Yeah, I felt that God had put love in me for someone. I thought the person was single. And now I've got the impression that I think she could be married. So obviously I'm not going to barely do anything with regards to that, which I never did. No. No, that's the point. What? I mean, look, if I had sort of spoken to her and got her to leave her husband for me, at some place down the line, it's quite likely she would leave me for someone else, right? So I wasn't going to do that. No, and to be honest, one thing there's a couple of things that's fantastic about this, absolutely wondrous about this, that I've said in the videos, that I've learned so much over this period of time. I'm not the person I was when I started this journey. Even the point of standing has helped me in so many ways. And the actual point of, I said about the point of where, when I think of marriage, I was talking about communication, but there was so much more that I could see, so much more. Basically, I was, seeing the sort of relationship that, wow. And wow is, And so now I said to God, okay, I want that. If it's not with her, okay, fine. I mean, that's cool. It seems very much like, we were not the right people for each other anyway now. And that's cool. If she's not supposed to be mine, then we shouldn't be the right people for each other, should we? But I mean, all I ask for God with regards to this lady now is that He brings her into what He's doing. Because when I first met her, I saw incredible potential in this woman. Incredible potential. As I say, her kindness, her joy, her compassion. There was so much about her that was just very impressive. And I know that when I've talked about sons of God and sons of God bringing heaven down and going blessing people, there you go, perfect. Father, bring them into that. She'd be perfect at that, so bring them into that, Father, I pray. That's it, really. Anything more to say about that? Not really. The only thing more to say is that I'm going to turn around because I've already gone around a bit. I just had a bit more to say, so I thought I won't go back to the car yet. So there you go. No, as I say, do I want that sort of relationship now? Yes. Beforehand, I didn't. I didn't think that would be a possibility. Whereas now I've seen what the possibilities are, and I spent time with God about what the possibilities are and how incredible a relationship can be if done His way. Wow. Yeah. I want that. But obviously, now we're at a point where I know who it's not going to be with. I don't know who it's going to be with, but I know who it's not going to be with. And that's cool. Yeah. And look, I do apologise to her, and I will. If she tells me what the problem is, I will most certainly apologise to her. I never meant to cause her any harm in any way, shape or form. No. So she's a very impressive young woman. She really is. And I wish her well. I mean, as I said before, she is the only person in my time in church who's certainly on a short time scale taken the challenge and prayed for somebody with me. Taken that as a challenge and risen to it. That, wow, okay. Yeah. So, look, I've got no problem with her at all. I don't blame her for any of it at all. Yeah, even the way that do I think she hasn't handled it great? Yeah. Maybe she's got bad advice, I don't know. But the reality is that, she's where she is. That's the reality. That's the reality. And where I was at that time, especially at that time as learning all these new bloody things, and it was all these new things. Learning to try and walk as whatever that was, and the understanding of who God is, trying to learn and learning who I am. And then suddenly there's this incredible love for a human being that I know is a very impressive woman. And I think she's single, so therefore, okay, maybe. And then God says, you're ready. And it's like, okay, cool, right. So it was after he said, you're ready, that the love for her came. But yeah. No harm was ever caused in that at all. No harm was ever intended to cause to her or her husband or any of that. No. But as I say, look, as soon as God said 8 months, that's it. I have to. I'm not doing it to try and be an absolute bastard to her or anything like that. It's just if God gives a time period, then okay, I've got something to stand on. As I say, I'm not standing on it to try and be nasty to her. I'm standing on it because, this is something which, okay, do I want to wreck a marriage? No, because I said all the way through to God, all the way through, I said, if she's with the right person, bless that marriage. I prayed for her every night, and most nights I said, if she's with the right person, bless that marriage. I pray for her and her husband every night. And that's the point. If they're with the right people, if they're together and they should be together, then bless that marriage. I'm still going to stand, but I'm standing on God's word. I'm not standing on necessarily what the result of that will be. And that's the truth. I'm standing on God's word. What the result will be, when that's up to God. So, I think now, I don't know what the time is now. I've got my watch. No, watch is indoors. So I don't know what the time is now. I imagine it's quite close to 12. So, there you go. That's it then. Well, because really speaking, if it's quite close to 12 anyway, then there is absolutely no possibility that that's going to happen. There just isn't the time. No. I'm not going to go into what that would detail because that's irrelevant now. It is irrelevant now. So there you go. That's it. You can tell by me. I'm not broken by it. It just is what it is. And I was speaking to God earlier and said, well, okay, if the purpose of standing wasn't about her, it was about something. There was a reason for me to stand. I don't know what that reason is yet, but there was a reason for me to stand. And that was it. I was standing because, I believe God said. Simple as that. So you stand on it and you see what happens. And, in the very near future, I'm going to find out what the reason was for me to stand. I don't know tonight, certainly. I know what it wasn't for. What it was for, I've no idea. But you take care. God bless. I'll speak to you soon. Bye-bye.